Section 8.3, example 2 on page 517, we have when a figure is rotated 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, or 360 degrees about the origin in a coordinate plane, you can use the following rules. A rotation of 90 degrees about the origin of xy gives us negative yx. So we switch the x and y values and then make the first one the opposite of whatever it was. So if we had a positive y, it becomes negative. If y was already negative, negative y would give us a positive. Here we have the example of the point G, 2, 3, and when we switch the 2 and the 3 and make the first one the opposite of what it was before, we get negative 3, 2. So it's 3 in the front, 2 in the back, and the 3 was positive, so now it's negative. For the rotation 180 degrees about the origin of xy, we get negative x, negative y. So we just change x and y to the negative or opposite versions. Here we have the example of G, 2, 3 again. But when we rotate 180 degrees, we keep the 2 and the 3 in the same order, but make them both opposites. So since they were both positive, they will now both be negative. For the rotation of 270 degrees about the origin of xy, we get y, negative x. So we switch the order again, but this time we get the opposite of the second value. So again with G, 2, 3, if we go 270 degrees about the origin, our 2 and 3 switch, so we get 3 and then 2, but we're going to change the sign of the second one. So instead of positive 2, we now have negative 2. A rotation of 360 degrees about the origin of xy is just xy because you have made one full circle and you end up right at the same spot. So the rotation of 360 degrees about the origin of the point 2, 3 is again the point 2, 3. So G actually equals G prime in this scenario. Example 2 says PQRS has vertices P11, Q33, R41, and S30. What is the graph of the rotation of 90 degrees about the origin of PQRS? I've included the rule from the previous slide that the rotation of 90 degrees about the origin of xy is negative yx. So if we get all the points for PQRS, which was 1, 1, 3, 3, 4, 1, and 3, 0, all we're going to do is switch the order and make the first one the opposite of what it was before. So when we switch 1, 1, we get 1, 1 again, but now we're going to throw a negative in front of our new x value. For 3, 3, we get 3, 3 again, but we're going to put a negative in front of our new x value. For 4, 1, this becomes 1, 4, and then we make our 1 negative. And here we have 3, 0, so it becomes 0, 3, and we would put a negative on our x value, which is 0, but negative 0 is just 0. So now we can plot these new values for P prime, Q prime, R prime, and S prime on our graph to get P prime, Q prime, R prime, S prime, the new quadrilateral. The work for this problem is written out on the next slide. And now I would like you to try homework number 4 on page 518. For exercises 3 and 4, use the graph at the right. We are going to take this graph and graph the rotation at 270 degrees about the origin of FGHJ.